Paula from DoveAudio here. So a few people have asked about my modular rig and the bits and pieces that I use in it. So it goes all the way over there and all the way down there and all the way up there. So I give you a quick run through of what I've got. So this is a macro oscillator based on the fantastic designs of Emily Gillet from Mutable Instruments. Sounds incredible, super useful for noise or hi-hats, snares, cloud sounds and all sorts of fab things. Of course, I've got 3 of my own window transform function oscillators, and I have a DoveAudio waveplane oscillator as well. Now, I use these 4 oscillators, she says, zooming out, a lot in my music. Usually this left-hand one is on noise or some sort of percussion-y type sound. This middle one I usually have as the sort of lower end. This is the sort of mid-end. And then this one I'll have as the top end. And what I tend to do with the top end is have a couple of LFOs coming in and just sort of moving the waveform around and giving me some variation in texture at the top end. So if you listen to my music, you'll hear that quite a lot. I've got placeholders here. These are quite literally just empty panels. You can stick your finger in and wave it around. Empty panels for my mutable oscillator, which I will talk about in a moment. I got this one a couple of days ago. This is the Odyssey of Sound VCO from CoreSynth. Really great sounding oscillator, rock solid tuning, love it to bits. Can't recommend it enough. I've got 2 quad LFOs from Modular. Again, I like the flexibility, lots of outputs, you can control the pitch, and it's got a good range, and you can switch it to audio and stuff. Really useful LFOs. The reason I've got 8 LFOs, and it's kind of not enough, is because if you add up all the modulation inputs on my VCOs, I've got 3, 6, 9, and then another 6, which gives me 15 modulation inputs. So 2 is not really, 8 LFOs, sorry, is not really quite enough. But I can do most things with it, so it's kind of useful. Mixer++, which I use for mixing in the combinations of the wave oscillators up here. I like this module because quite often if I'm making some music and I want to give something a bit of a lift or a bit of a punch, I'll flip it from ×1 to ×2 to bring it out the mix a little bit, and then I can duck it back. Super useful little feature that I really quite enjoy doing. Saves me trying to remember how far the pot is up or down. Next cabinet across. Yes, I've gotten 2 cabinets, I'm a bit sad. Simple 4-channel mixer from synthesizers.com, and quite a lot of this is from them. Transistor ladder filter, just because it's still one of my favourite filter sounds of all time. It's a really good sounding little module. Got a space here. I'm going to put another mixer in so I can mix stuff going into the ladder or mix stuff going into the next filter, which is the synthesizers.com state variable. Probably one of the nicest sounding state variables I've heard. Great range, fantastic resonance, which you can CV, which I do quite a lot. And the bandpass and the high pass I find particularly useful. I tend to use these with noise to just give my percussion a bit of a lift and stop it from interfering with the bottom end coming from the oscillators. Fabulous sounding 4-pole low pass filter from CoreSynth, which is based on the SSI 2144. Really nice feature with the compensation, so as you crank the resonance up you can flick this down and you don't lose the bottom end of your mix, which is super useful. Quad AD/AR envelope generator from, well, myself, kind of, really, not really me. I don't sell this module. This is one you can make. I've put all the schematics and PCB designs and bill of materials on my blog. The reason I don't sell it is it's not my design. It was an open source design by Thomas Henry, used on a 555 timer, and I kind of don't really want to take credit or money for something that's an open source design and not really mine. So yeah, you can build those. I do want another one of them, but I'm kind of running short on space, so maybe. This is a module that I'm working on, well, kind of not even working on yet, it's just an idea. It's a 4-tap delay unit with stereo left and right pan for each tap and individual time controls for each tap. it's just an idea at the moment. I don't know if it will make it to being a product or if I'll share it or what. So with all the other projects I've got on at the moment, this could be a while before you see anything about this. Core Synth Quad VCA, again, super useful module. I like having 4 VCAs in one 2U module. At the moment I use this for doing all my mixing. And I fade up the CV levels or the gain levels as I'm doing various bits in the music. So again, really useful module. Next row down, power supply, boring but kind of useful. Multiples, you can never have enough of these, I really can't stress it. I use this one an awful lot, and the one in the box 11, which I'll show you in a minute. Quad reversible attenuator from Modular. Don't often use the invert option, but when I do, it's really useful to have. So yeah, a really useful little module. Little basically just quad attenuator from it's a panel from Resynthesis, so you can see the logo there. Just 4 pots and 8 jacks, really simple, and occasionally it's just useful just to duck something. So I'll take something into a mult, take one into here and then off to say the resonance on the filter, and the other one into the filter cutoff, and I can just tweak the amount that the same CV is affecting the resonance separately to the filter, which is useful. Modular dual ADSR. Again, I like the fact you push the button and you can trigger stuff. I quite often use that for like sweeps at the end of a song, or for noise shots or something, or just occasional bit of punctuation. FX capacitor, fairly new module for me. I quite like it. It's got a lot of flexibility and some really interesting stuff in it. And at the moment I'm not using it really as much more than just a delay unit. I don't know if you can see, there we go. So it spends most of its time on this setting with no pitch shift, delay time, and then all of the delay mix here. Once I get the this module built, this will be used for reverb and for some of the other nutty effects that it can do. Oakley MOS VCF, based on one of the MOS chips. Sounds really good. So it's a gorgeous sounding phaser. I like the fact it's got its own built-in LFO, which you can override with the CV in as well. So again, really gorgeous sounding little module. On my final little case, the box 11, I've got a MIDI interface from synthesizers.com, my prototype sequencer, which still has a long way to go yet. As you can see, there are holes up here and displays I'm not using and things. So there's a long way to go with that one yet. And this is the mutable oscillator, wavetable oscillator that you can do sort of wavetable-y type stuff like that, or you can just have steps. So if you just want sudden changes in waveforms, oh, I must do the screw up for that one. Whoops. Or you can switch it to pulse width mode and modulate the pulse width anywhere between 0 and 100%. So super useful for that. Key thing about this module is it's got the ability to switch from regular FM to through 0 FM, which sounds quite different, and I think, personally, I think it's more musically useful than regular FM. Still got some bugs and things to work out with that. Like at the moment, it seems to have about 10 octaves of range, and this sweeps about 2 octaves. So there's a lot of bugs still to work out on that one. Other parts in my rig, the Waldorf strike effect, I think that's how you say it. Sorry if to the German people who watch if I mispronounced it. Really useful, great for those string machine sounds from the 70s. Just does that, but it does it really well, and it's super useful, and I'm using it quite a lot. Alessi's Photon X25, basically I just wanted a keyboard that would fit in this gap, and I could only find this was like 10 quid from eBay, and it's a great little 2 octave keyboard. It'd be nice to have a 3 or 4 octave keyboard, but I just don't have the space, so 2 octave is what I've got. Going up to the top of my rack, I've got EMU Vintage Keys. Spends most of its life on either Tron Strings or Tron Choir, just because I like that kind of sound. Really useful. Lexicon reverb unit. If I ever find a power supply for it, which is lost in a box somewhere or in a drawer somewhere, the Vintage Keys will spend most of its life going through that reverb. simple mixer and a little patch bay to go through it, so I can patch stuff in and out as I wish. Just want to give a quick shout out to Luigi's Modular for these cables. As you can see, they come in a myriad of colours, which is just so useful when you've got big patches going on. Really high quality, this lovely braided sort of nylon. If I can get it to come up, can't quite see it. Take my word for it. Beautiful cables. And they've got this quaint thing, they've got this nice cave strain relief, but if you turn it upside down and look, you'll notice, if I can get it, it's a little moustache. Because Christopher is very well known for his moustache. Let me find a slightly brighter one. There we go. See, a little moustache with Luigi's, and on this side there's a little moustache with a little alien face. Beautiful cables, really good quality, and available in a myriad of colours and lengths. So I use them pretty much exclusively on my modular now. Got a couple of old cables that I use for testing. And that's pretty much it for my modular stuff. So thanks for watching.